Hello, students. I am Jay Prakash, lecturer from Computer Science and Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic for Women, Bengaluru. So today I am going to give the session on green computing. Okay. So let us start the unit one of green computing. Okay. So introduction to the green computing. So green IT, also known as green computing, it is a study and the practice of designing, manufacturing, and using computers, servers, monitors, printers, storage devices, and networking and communication systems effectively and with zero or minimal impact on the environment. So what happens here is in today's world, the enterprises, the societies, the organizations are using the computers for their work. So increasing the computer's productivity, what happens? The nature will be get affected using the usage of the power or the pollutions or throwing these devices into the environment. It will affect the nature. So we need to protect the environment. So the green IT stands for that. Okay, that's why it is a study and the practice of designing, the manufacturing, and the computer servers and the printers and the networking and the communication systems efficiently and effectively. So we have to use this system in a proper way so that it should not affect the environment. Okay, the green IT is also is about using the IT to support, assist, and leverage other environmental initiatives and also helps to create green awareness. So we have to give the awareness to the people how to use the components of the systems. Okay. Next, the green IT encompasses hardware, software, tools, strategies, and practices that improve and foster environmental sustainability. So how we have to use the hardware, the softwares, and the tools and the different methods so that the environment should not be affected. So next, what the question arises: what is the benefits of using the and adopting the green IT? So these are the benefits. The green IT benefits the environment by using the energy efficiency, lowering the GHG emissions, using less harmful materials, and encouraging the reuse and recycling. So it will improve the energy efficiency. So we use the methods so that the energy should be minimized. Okay. And second is, so when you minimize the energy, obviously the GHG emissions will be lesser. And next, you should not dispose these materials in a improper way. So we have to dispose in a proper way by using disposable methods, and also we can adopt reuse and recycling methods. Okay. Next, the increased awareness of the harmful effects of GHG emissions, new stringent environmental legislations, concerns about the electronic waste disposable practices, and corporate image concerns are driving the businesses and the individuals to go green. So what happens here? It is the rules and regulations what we put, okay, by using the green IT and also the corporate images. So we have to set the rules for the corporate, okay, that will help us to make the environment green. So these are the benefits. So first one is we are going to minimize the energy, we have to lower the GHG emissions and less harmful materials. We are going to reuse and recycle the materials, and then we also set the rules and regulations for the companies or the organizations and also the individuals that should they go for green. Next, the environmental concerns and sustainable development. So the growing accumulations of GHG is changing the world's climate and weather patterns, creating the droughts in some countries and floods in others, and pushing global temperatures slowly higher and then posing serious worldwide problems. So what happens is when you are going to use the IT infrastructures, obviously you are going to use the energy. Then obviously green gas emissions will be occurs. So what happens here? The temperature of the climate will be get increased, and the weather patterns will be changes. So obviously, if the temperature increases, the the droughts will occur. Okay, because the water minimization will occur. Okay, and then floods will occur, and also global temperature also increases. So it will all occurs a serious worldwide problems. The global warming is average increase in the temperature of the atmosphere. So what is the question of global warming? It will increase the temperature of the atmosphere. So Earth atmosphere. The Earth surfaces which can contribute to changes in the global climate pattern. So the Earth climate will be changed. Okay. The global warming can occur from a variety of causes, both natural and human induced. So from the both the ways, both natural and human interventions causes the global temperature will be increased. So what happens if global warming increases? The global warming often refers to the warming that can occur due to increased GHG emissions from the human activities, which trap the heat that would otherwise escape from the earth. So the heat will be get trapped. This phenomena is known as greenhouse effect. So obviously the global warming should be minimized in order to make the earth green. Otherwise, the greenhouse effect will be taken place. The GHT comprises a range of different elements, and the common characteristics of them are that they can absorb the thermal infrared radiations which is emitted from the earth and then re-emit it and increases the earth temperature. So these GHG gas emissions will increase the global temperature or earth temperature. The most significant constituents of GHG are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbon. So these are the components which makes the Earth atmosphere temperature will be increased. Which are those? The carbon dioxide, the methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbon gases. So electricity is the major source of GHG emissions. So by using the energy, we are going to burn the coal, okay, which increases the temperature because it releases the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, okay. So the temperature, Earth temperature will be increased. So reducing the electric power consumption is a key to reduce CO2 emissions and their impacts on the environment and global warming. So when you minimize the energy consumption, obviously the CO2 emissions will be reduced. Obviously, then the global effect will be not affected much. Okay. In 1997, the Kyoto Protocol mandates the reducing the carbon emissions. The protocol requires computer manufacturers to undertake the energy audits to calculate the electricity used by the devices over their lifetime. So, what the Kyoto Protocol mandate declares that whatever the energy consumption taken place by the IT infrastructures that should be mandated, okay, and determine the quantum of carbon dioxide emission to take remedial action. So when the energy consumption is lessened, obviously the CO2 emissions is also will be reduced. So a mandate is made in order to reduce the energy minimization. Okay. Next, the inconvenient truth. So what happens here? The climate change presents a new kind of risk. It impacts the global and long term, and damage it causes essentially irreversible. So when the climate changes occurs, obviously globally, so it will damage the entire environment. So for a long run, it will affect the environment. So and it is a irreversible process. So you can't reverse back the whatever the damage that has been caused. Okay. The imminent dangers of the climate change and the state of global warming are highlighted by the former US Vice President, okay, and environment activist. So the imminent dangers. So what are the dangers that will occur while using these IT infrastructures? Okay. So an Oscar-winning documentary film is also made, and an Inconvenient Truth, and the book also has been made as Inconvenient Truth, which describes whatever the damages or whatever the harmful effects will be taken in the nature if you use our IT infrastructures in a wrong way. Okay. The Nicholas Stern, in his landmark report, discussed that the economics of global warming and warmed it was not the action, but the inaction on the climate change that will devast, devast, devastate global economies. Global economies. So what happens here? If you are not using the proper way, obviously the climate change will occur, and it will be a damage to the entire environment. So several scientific societies and academies of science, including all major countries, national academies of science endorse that global warming is the mainly caused by human activity and will continue if GHG emissions are not reduced. So these are all the activities are produced by the human intervention to the environment. So the GHG gas emissions are increasing day by day because of human interventions, because of enterprises, organizations, and the individuals who uses the IT components, the IT infrastructures. Obviously, the electricity consumption is increased. When the electricity consumption is increased, obviously the GHG gas emissions will be more. So then it will affect the environment. So human activity has made the global GHG gas emissions will be more, and it is affecting the our environment. The government, the enterprises, and the people have all the roles in combating the global warming and building a sustainable environment. So it is the responsibility of the government and the enterprises means nothing but organizations and the peoples. So all the people should take the responsibilities in maintaining the global warming and building a good environment so that it should not affect the nature. Next, what do you mean by sustainable development? So there are different methods. Okay, the sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future. So what we need to do here, we meet the needs of the present. So we have to fulfill the needs, but we should not compromise about the future generations to meet their own needs. Okay, so we have to think over the future so that it should not affect the nature. The sustainable development compromises economic, environment, and social dimension. So it includes all this, the economic or the environment and also the social dimensions. So next the question arises, why should we go for green? So what are the advantages, what is the benefits, and why we people or we organization or we government or we societies need to go for green. So these are the reasons why should we go for green. First one, increasing the energy consumption and energy prices. So when we are going to use the energy in a much more way, obviously the price will be get increases, and also the energy consumption will also increases, and day by day in the future the energy consumption, the energy will be lessened. Okay, the growing the consumer interest in environmental friendly goods and services. So the consumers have to involved, okay, in the environmental friendly goods and services. So whatever the infrastructures we develop and whatever the methods we follow, we should not affect the environment. So everyone, from right from the normal person to the entire organization and all the persons who are involved in the government or the organizations or the public, the people should take interest so that the environment should not be affected. The higher expectations by the public on their enterprises, environmental responsibilities, so it will increase the responsibility of a public person also, so that the nature should not be affected. And then emerging the stricter regulatory and compliance requirements. So strict rules should be organized in the society, in the organizations, enterprises, and also in the by each person. Okay, so that the environment should not be affected. When we go for go green, it will makes the nature safer, and it will be the future will be better. Okay, the environment should not will not get affected, and the environmental will be go green. Okay, thank you, student.